In the winter of 1999, I was just going through basic training at the army. It was around Christmas when I got a call from my mom that she had been diagnosed with an urethral carcinoma. Wouldn't be a big deal, they would just get it out. That's 20 years ago last year. She went on to have another 15 carcinomas in the urethra, breast cancer, and what turned out to be lung cancer as well. The urethra cancers are pretty easy to treat because, well, the urethra is a bubble, so you just go in through the natural entry and scratch it off the surface and it's gone. A little scar remains where it was, and well, it's okay. With every additional cancer, it became normal that there was a yearly treatment. She didn't need chemo, she just had to take something against inflammations, but every single one was taking a toll on her body. So, by the age of 55, she was still working with a cancer. By the age of 65, she had to quit her job because she wasn't as strong as you used to be. She loved her job. She was a night ward in an elderly home, trained nurse with diploma, and she loved people. She always said that she absolutely hated the way people were treated in elderly homes, and that in the night when she was working she could do something for them. Many of them had cancer, some of them terminal, and their family wouldn't come to visit, and their family wouldn't be there when they passed. So she was there when they passed for a lot of people. She took care that they would be treated with respect and dignity. And she told me that she never want to die in an elderly home or hospital, because that's the worst thing, the worst way to go. When she wants to go, it should be at home. In the winter of 2017, the doctors declared her cured. There had not been another outbreak for 8 years. Her health was getting better, despite having COPD and now a pacemaker for a heart, because, well, it all took the toll. She was happy. I was happy. Because life seemed to finally turn out to be okay again. I was working hard at the time as a truck driver to qualify for a better job in my studies, which is event management. I was planning to become someone who does road shows, and for that you had to be qualified for running a big rig. So I made my license and did a 1 year training, so I actually was fit for the job. In August, I had the accident I've been talking about quite a lot. In October, the cancer was back. I couldn't walk, I couldn't lift anything, so I hoped that they would treat it the way they would always do it. So they said they're gonna inspect my mom and it should be business as usual. Only it wasn't. The urethral carcinoma, which usually just stuck to the walls and, well, just would be scraped off, had taken hold in her and the pathways to the kidney, and they weren't sure if they could get in, so they decided to completely take out the urethra and replace it. There are pretty safe procedures to do that these days, so they said it wouldn't be a big deal if they can do it, which was in question because, well, as I already said, by now she had a pacemaker and COPD, so every anesthesia would be pretty heavy load on the body. In March, she was scheduled for the first try. I was in hospital myself because they did surgery on my knee, so I should be able to walk again a short time after. She called me while I was in the hospital and told me they called off the procedure because the doctor in charge of anesthesia said she wouldn't wake up again. Her heart was too weak. She would first have to lose some weight, so the load isn't that heavy on her heart. They rescheduled for October. So in October 2018, I was nearly ready to walk again and was planned for surgery on the shoulder at the end of the month. She went to hospital again. And they said that they would not do the procedure because the pre-medication already showed that her heart wouldn't take it. So they said they would let the cancer be and just treat the side effects. They declared her palliative, which means treatment till you die, but no surgery. Making sure that you can die in dignity and can make the most of the time you have left. They decided for immunotherapy, which is basically boosting your immune system so that you can take whatever comes at you better. Christmas 2018 was the last Christmas she was at home. She had to go to a hospital as an emergency shortly after. And they decided to keep her, to let her go into short-term intensive ward, which is kind of It is an elderly home, but they are prepared for medical emergencies. So, against her will and against my will, they they took her there, and she was treated. At the same time, I tried to get the system to allow for us to redesign, to renovate her flat so she could be treated at home. And we went through a lot of red tape, a shitload of red tape. I couldn't do the renovation myself, so we would have to order a company to do the arrangements, get a medical bed and stuff. And that would be expensive. We're talking 5 digits. Well, and we couldn't afford that. So we applied for grants, we applied for leases, and it took a crazy amount of time. In March, she had a medical emergency and was taken to the stroke unit because they thought she had a stroke. By now I was in charge of her medical procedures. We have a thing called Patientenverfügung in Germany, which is essentially like a kind of will specialized on medical treatment. So it's not like a testament, it's just about how you want to be treated, and if you want intensive care, life prolonging procedures, or if you let the machines run with a clause that said that I have the final word in that. This is like the final say. After that, she was moved to another ward because we weren't even close to having her room ready. The doctor from immunotherapy said we had 2 years. So by July, end of July, she could be home. I mustered as many friends I could to take care that by then she can be back home, because she had just the wish to have her 75th birthday at home, see people for Christmas the last time, and then go sometime 2020 or 21. So she was ready to go in 2020, which is now. My mom was a strong woman and had a strong will, so she always was a fighter. And she was okay with knowing that she has 2 years so she could spend time with grandkid, make her arrangements. And she went back to a different ward where a good friend of a family was also working, so she knew that someone she knows is always around. And I visited her every other day together with my son, because I had a hard time driving because of surgery on my arm. So he would take care of it. I was okay and would warn me when I was getting too tired to drive back. So we always made it home safely. But I had to be there as much as possible, and he kind of hated it. in a way, because he knew his grandmother as a fighter, and she always fought. And he told me that he thinks she gave up. And even in my heart, I knew that there is a tradition in my family that the women in our family, they decide when they go. My grandmother, my grandmother, she went to hospital, and when she didn't get her will, she said, "You know what? Then I'll just go." And one day after, she was lying peacefully in her bed and she was gone. We were told the same about our grandmother and the one before, so it was kind of a tradition to just say, "Okay, I'm out." My mom lost 80 pounds in between 2018 and 2019. When I last saw her, she was referring to herself as Yoda, because she was all shriveled and needed to use an assistant, like there's really trolleys you take with you to go anywhere. She had no control over her bladder, so they had to give her a catheter. And on the 6th of July, I was called by a different hospital that they were asking where her Patientenverfügung was, her will. And I said, "I got it here. I can fax it to you, but why?" And I learned that the ward didn't inform me, and that she was brought to the ER the day before. And I asked the doctor what they want to do, what they're going to do, and he said, "Well, I don't completely know. Maybe we do an emergency procedure, but we have to have this paper because else we can't do anything. We can't make any decisions." So I faxed it over. Took me like 50 minutes, and then I called him back, and he was like, "Okay, I will keep you posted, and please stay at home, because she is right now in no shape that we can do anything around her, because there's someone around her all the time, and I will call you in half an hour, and then we plan when I can tell you what we're gonna do, and plan the rest of the day." So I called a friend and told him that I'm gonna go to the hospital real soon, and he said he wanted to be there too. So I said, "Yeah, get your ass moving, or else we won't be able to do anything." So, as promised, half an hour later, the doctor called me, and he told me that they've decided against the procedure, and that my mom would go in the next 4 to 5 days. That she's right now sleeping and in good shape, and they are preparing a room for her, so everybody can come visit and say goodbye, and that they are prepared for palliative care, and that I should come by at roughly 8 o'clock in the evening, which would be like 2 hours away. And then we would make all the arrangements, so I can have a list of people who can visit her or cannot visit her. And from there on out, I could come whenever I wanted, night and day, and say goodbye and spend time with her, make the final arrangements. I got a call from my friend that he would be a couple minutes late, that I could go if I wanted to, that he would be there like in half an hour. And I said, no, it's okay. We're gonna we're gonna be there at 8, like we promised, and well, it's probably gonna be the last time he sees her. And I started calling the relatives, telling them what was happening and that this is the last goodbye. "45 minutes later, the doctor called. He told me that she made it, that she had said goodbye to the nurse, and that she didn't want to bother me because I had enough problems as it is. So I never got a chance to say goodbye. When my friend came, we we drove over. We had a last vigil. He didn't want to come in because he's scared of hospitals and him. Well, I went in alone. I told her everything I couldn't tell her before. Everything I had prepared to tell her whenever it's time to say goodbye. And well, we were told 2 years. 2 years. And she was looking like she's gonna make it. And just a couple minutes before that, the doctor told me 5 days. 4 to 5. When I came, I confronted him. I asked him why the heck it was so quick, and he said he has never seen that before. And that's when I knew that she had made the decision. That's when I knew that she decided that it's enough. And had gone. So yeah. It doesn't matter what the doctors tell you. It doesn't matter what your loved ones tell you. Cancer is unpredictable. It doesn't matter what they tell you. It doesn't matter what the doctors say. It doesn't matter what the one who's sick says. What you think. Cancer takes no prisoners. It doesn't give you time off. It doesn't adjust to your time plan. It just is, and it decides exactly what it will and won't let you do. So the best way to control cancer is just not to get it. And in order to do that, here are the PSAs. Accept that you have to go to a doctor regularly so you can have your checkups, do your routine checkups, control your body yourself. find the lumps, look at spots that feel strange, look strange, and go to the doctor. Don't put off. Don't say, I can do it next time. Don't say, we still have 2 years' time. Because you don't know if you have. You don't know if you ever have enough time to do anything you want. If you feel you have excess time, do your bucket list. Just go ahead. You have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose, so for fuck's sake, just go ahead and do it. And if you feel you don't have the energy to do the bucket list, take time off. Nobody can tell you how to spend your last days. So what would they do? So fuck what your boss says. Fuck what anybody tells you. Carpe diem. Because you don't know when it's over. And something that took hold in your body for once may return. Even if you are declared healed, you make sure you stay that way. Because at the end of the day, you don't get to decide. Okay. I wish you all the best of luck. And if you want to talk about it, if you need to talk about it, I'm right here. I'm the real Darian. And cancer is not monkey business. Take it seriously.